It was such a disappointing trade deadline for these red-hot Red Sox that people are starting to wonder just how bad Craig Breslow is at his job. For like the 10th time this season, we are wondering, how bad is this guy? How bad is Craig Breslow? And I saw this tweet yesterday that said, this might be a hot take, but I think Chaim Bloom did a better job than Craig Breslow. And my man got dragged in the comments. Oh, it's the worst take ever. Chaim fucking sucked. That guy ran us into the ground. He set this franchise back 10 years. And I'm looking at this like, am I the biggest Chaim Bloom fan in the world? No. But in what way did Chaim Bloom set the Red Sox franchise back? That's what I'm not understanding. Like, where is this revisionist history coming from? And why do we let the owners off the hook entirely when it comes to Chaim Bloom? Chaim was a sacrificial lamb after doing actually a pretty good job. Was he frustrating at times? Absolutely he was. Do I think they could do better than Chaim Bloom overall? Yes. Did Chaim Bloom do a better job than Craig Breslow's done so far? Yes. Very much, yes. Because let's take a look at the context that each of these guys went into. I think that's really important. When Chaim Bloom was hired in October of 2019 to be the Red Sox CBO, he had a mess. The Red Sox were way over budget. David Price was coming off a horrible year and owed $30 million. Chris Sale just started a 5-year extension worth $29 million after coming off a career-low 25 starts that last year, was already damaged goods, and was going to have Tommy John before the next season, sorry. Was going to have Tommy John surgery before the next season, his age 30 season. And, oh yeah, Mookie Betts was going into the final year of his deal, and the directive as Chaim Bloom came in as CBO of the Red Sox from ownership was, you've got to find a trade partner for this guy. Make it work. So Chaim Bloom comes in with handcuffs on already. One of the 3 or 4 best players in baseball is on his team, but you've got to trade him. And he needs an extension for wherever he's going, or else you're going to get nothing in the deal. And at the time, there was pretty much 2, maybe 3 teams that could go and get Mookie Betts and sign him to an extension. It was the Yankees, no way, the Mets, and the Dodgers. So he's not dealing with 29 other teams that want Mookie Betts, because of course they all do. He's dealing with 3 teams that want Mookie Betts, including one in his own division and their biggest rival. That was an absolute shit sandwich he walked into for lunch when he got here. And we can rue the Mookie Betts trade all day long. It sucks. It's going to be one of the worst moments in the history of this franchise. But it's not on Chaim Bloom. It's not on him. He didn't put them in that situation. And did he get the best deal possible? Probably pretty close, because you threw in Price in there and they ate most of his contract. So you weren't going to get this laundry list of the top 5 or 10 prospects in baseball. You weren't going to get that. You got arguably their top prospect in Alex Verdugo, who had already played in the major leagues at that point. You got a legit catching prospect who's one of the worst players in all of baseball, Connor Wong. Alex Verdugo sucks pretty hard too. But like, you got something. And I know you're saying, oh, you got something for Mookie Betts. But again, this is what good GMs do. That's what Friedman does. He's a good GM. He knows the Red Sox can't deal with anybody else. He holds them over a barrel. So Chaim Bloom immediately is just being held right over the fire. And when Chaim Bloom gets hired with the Red Sox, they also have the 30th ranked prospect pool in Major League Baseball. 30th out of 30 teams. We are barely, like, bottom of the barrel scraping would be like a gourmet meal for this. Their top 3 prospects were Tristan Casas, Brian Mata, and Bobby Dahlbeck. They had nothing when Chaim Bloom got in here. And we're going to come back to that prospect pool because that is what really makes Chaim Bloom's tenure so good in retrospect. Again, frustrating at the time. I'm right there with you. But he comes in with the 30th ranked prospect pool in MLB. By the time he's fired 3 years later, they've got the 16th ranked prospect pool in MLB. And going into this year, 2025, when all the prospects were basically all still his, they were the 3rd ranked prospect pool in MLB. This great generational trio that the Red Sox have, they're all Chaim guys. Christian Campbell, a comp pick in the 3rd round from when they let Xander Bogaerts walk on an 11-year deal as a 31-year-old. Good move, Chaim Bloom. Marcelo Meyer, number 4 pick in the draft when everyone thought they were going to have to go pitching, and Jack Leiter goes off the board, and all of a sudden the kid who was ranked as the number 1 prospect who had fallen to 4th is right there in the Red Sox lap. That's a Chaim move. Chaim did that. And oh yeah, how about the 3rd round pick, 79th overall, that Chaim Bloom puts his nuts on the table and signs over slot? And all he does is become the best prospect in baseball in the future of this franchise, Roman Anthony. They're all Chaim guys. Everything that's exciting about the future of this franchise, except for 1 or 2 guys. The exciting young core of this team is Chaim Bloom. It's not Craig Breslow. It's not. And Breslow's made some good deals. They're few and far between, but signing Alex Bregman, great deal. If they don't extend him, that's ass, okay? So he makes a great deal by bringing in Alex Bregman. Hopefully it's more than a 1-year contract. The trade for Garrett Crochet, awesome deal, man. You got an ace that's locked in for the next 6 years or whatever it is, and he is going to be the face of your rotation for years to come. Should be an all-star, top of the rotation, ace kind of guy. Wonder how you got him. Oh, yeah. You made a trade with the White Sox in a package highlighted by Kyle Teal. A first-round pick by, you guessed it, Chaim Bloom. Even the ones that don't make the major league roster are making the team better. That's all Chaim Bloom, man. Braden Montgomery's Chaim Bloom, too. He's another guy in the deal. So I'm hearing people saying these hot takes that Chaim Bloom might have been better than Craig Breslow. You think? You think? And look, were the results what we wanted them to be? Absolutely not. That's why I'm not going to say Chaim Bloom was the next Theo. I'm not saying you could have done better than him. You ended up doing worse by getting Craig Breslow, but I still think you could have done better than him. They were 5 games over 500 in his tenure with the Red Sox as CBO. And it's not like he was bringing in a bunch of big money free agents. In fact, Bregman was the biggest big money free agent since, well, Trevor Story, who at the time looked like the worst Chaim Bloom signing. And he was battling injuries each of his first couple of seasons. And now, as the Red Sox are finally starting to win, a huge reason why is Trevor Story. Okay, I'm not just saying like a little bit of a reason why is Trevor Story. I'm talking about like he is one of their best hitters and one of the best hitters in the league right now. AL Player of the Week, Trevor Story, 476 average, 3 homers, 8 RBI, and a 1.6 OPS as they're on a 6-game winning streak. Top 10 in the league in RBI this season, 69. Very nice. Since June 1st, he leads all of baseball in runs batted in with 46 RBI. Even Chaim Bloom's worst deal turned it around and is helping this team win right now. Even his worst signing, which now looks like Masataka Yoshida. Because if you look at the major free agent signings, Story went from a loss to a win. Yoshida's a loss. He's my least favorite player on the team. Kenley Jansen, kind of a win. Gave up on the team at the end. You were just in a spot where you didn't really need a top-end closer that badly because you didn't make the playoffs. So, más o menos. Devers, extending him, I see that as a win. The next guy traded him for nothing, absolute peanuts, but that was a win of a contract for the years that you had him. But what was Chaim Bloom really bad at? Chaim was not good at the trade deadline. Every year we were so pissed off at the Red Sox, the trade deadline, not unlike this year with Craig Breslow. But when you look at the one team that Chaim really had a shot with, I think, 22 and 23, it was a lot of fool's gold there, right? I mean, they were good. They were 500 or above in each of those 2 years of the trade deadline. But they didn't have depth. They didn't have the roster they had now. It was a bit of fool's gold. And part of that's Chaim's fault, 1,000%. And those trade deadlines were infuriating in the years under Bloom. But the year that they actually had a shot and to push towards the playoffs in 2021 was because of 2 signings he made on the cheap in the offseason. Kike Hernandez, who carried them to that ALDS series win. Hunter Renfroe, who had 30 homers and had an OPS over 800 that season. He hasn't hit 30 homers again. He's going to retire here. He made those moves before the season, and they had the depth in 2021. And at that trade deadline, all he did was go out and get Kyle Schwarber. A guy they never should have let walk, which Chaim Bloom let him walk. But right there, by trading for Kyle Schwarber, already much better at the trade deadline than Craig Breslow is, who brought in Dustin May and Steven Matz and a team that desperately needed some top-end pitching and comes up with some bullshit excuse saying there's no untouchables, but no team likes our players. Top 3 prospect pool in baseball, but no team likes your players. Yeah, I'm not hearing it from Craig Breslow. Bottom, was Chaim Bloom the savior of this team? No, he wasn't. Chaim Bloom was frustrating at times. It was a frustrating tenure. But he left this team much, much better off than when he found it. And if the Red Sox win anything big over the next couple of years, it's going to be because of Chaim Bloom's guys. Bregman and Crochet will be huge parts of it, no doubt. But so will Trevor Story. So will Roman Anthony. So will Marcelo Meyer. So will Christian Campbell. So will, remember in 2022 when Chaim Bloom traded his starting catcher, Christian Vázquez, to the Houston Astros, a team that never gives up good prospects? You got Wilyer Abreu. He's going to be a part of that too. So when you look back at the Red Sox World Series team in the next couple of seasons, Craig Breslow will probably be the GM who gets the World Series ring and will get some credit, but it's going to be a lot of Chaim's guys that get him there. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Who was better, Chaim Bloom or Craig Breslow? And how frustrating is it that they couldn't get better than either of those two guys? Let me know in the comments section below. Be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel if you are all in on this Red Sox team finally making a run again. Over 90% of you watching are not subscribed yet. It's completely free. We come at you every weekday, high noon Eastern time, live on YouTube, and then wherever you get your podcasts as well. So check out the channel, talking Bruins, Red Sox, everything else going on in the world of Boston sports. It's called The Cam Show because my name's Cam Stewart. Zach Burke keeps us on the air 5 days a week.